Having spent years in Africa and a few years in Ireland, I had to decide about retiring, and I came to our own old house here, St. Joseph's in Wilton, and I have taken up residence here. And as a pastime, I went back to doing gardening that I always did, even did a good bit of it in Nigeria where I worked. And I discovered moving around that there was this method being used of aquaponics. And I read up about it and I said it would be nice to try it and see how it would work. The result of my research is here for people to see and to decide whether they would think it would be worthwhile. What I know about aquaponic farming is it's a sustainable way of growing vegetables. Water tanks in the bottom with fish, 10 rainbow trout or 11 in each of them. And on the top we have the grow beds here. They're filled with gravel, no soil, and the water from the tanks with the fish poo in it is pumped up through this pipe here. There's a little electric pump on the bottom here on the end of this wire, pumps the water up. It comes out this pipe here and floods the tank here. And then when the tank is full, there's a siphon here, and the siphon brings the water back down into the tank. The fish have to be got from the Inland Fisheries Ireland. So we got them from Rosscray after doing all the paperwork that was necessary for it. The fish themselves are not expensive, but the transport of the fish here makes it a wee bit expensive. So we started with 50 fish, and the ministry, they deliver the fish here to us in tanks with water and oxygen to make sure they arrive safe and sound. And many of the fish now are plate size, so they're big enough for us to eat if we want to thin down the numbers in the tank. All the fish there are rainbow trout, and they are very pleasant to eat, especially if you have a good cook. The setting up of it is we had to get 2,000 litre tanks. So the gravel is a river gravel, it's washed. If you're lucky to have a stream beside you, somewhere you can gather the gravel, or you can buy the gravel in some of the garden centres. That makes it a wee bit more expensive. No soil is used, no chemicals are used. It's completely natural. So it uses very, very little water, except what the plants drink and the atmosphere absorbs. So it's a wonderful way of producing fresh vegetables. So the vegetables that we are growing in it are lettuce, garlic, onions, parsley, chard at the moment. If you want to introduce this to children, you can do it on a small scale, even with goldfish. And that won't cost very much. If you have an aquarium, you can do it, it won't cost you anything. But if you do it in a big scale, that's the way they do it commercially in other countries. And they are very pleased with the results. They would have a very large area under this type of farming. And the tanks might be much bigger than this. They might be made of concrete or cement, and they could be 50 yards long. And they'd run it like a commercial farm. And there's a lot of it in parts of America. China is big, where the land is very scarce. And I believe in Switzerland and the mountains, they grow a lot of their fresh vegetables up on the ski slopes and the hotels there. I could see it being, if you are really interested and give time to it, between having the fish and the vegetables, it should be very rewarding.
For Father Tom Kearney, it has become a very active retirement. He's growing a fine variety of fruit and veg in his garden. The polytunnel, which houses the aquaponics unit all year round, has more, including lettuce, potatoes, and a vine, which produces a fine crop of grapes each year. All that Father Tom needs to do now is press the grapes for the wine to complete his sustainable meal.